welcome to another episode of Community Spotlight, one of your favorite cable TV shows. And actually today we're back to featuring Allstate Insurance because we had a tremendously positive response on educating people on the importance of insurance. So Allstate is back today. I'm here with Christine Shaw from the, what is the name of your agency?
The Christina Shaw Agency.
The Christina Shaw Agency at Allstate, and Rob Christina. And Rob works with Allstate, and he specializes in life insurance? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit today about life insurance, the importance of it, why we need it, why we should have it, and we're just going to go through some questions. But I think you wanted to open up with a few comments, right, Christina?
Yes. Thanks, Chris, for having us on the show.
Anytime.
We appreciate it. You're the best. I wanted to share a story. We had a client probably going back 8-9 years ago. Mm-hmm. She and her husband bought a term policy from us, which Rob will explain what that is. And every few months she would call and try to cancel the policy. Things were getting tight in the family. They were looking at their budget. And we would really try to explain to her the importance of this policy. She had 3 small children. Fast forward a few years, her husband dies on his job unexpectedly.
Wow.
They were maybe in their mid-30s with 3 small children. And when I delivered that check to her, she had $1 million policy. It kept her in her home. It kept her children in their home. She was able to bring in a nanny, and the children are going to college, and she was able to really focus on losing her husband, not losing her husband and her home and her life. And that's really what this is about.
That's amazing. And yeah, and there are a lot of people out there that don't feel the need for certain policies. They don't realize how important they are.
It's hard to talk about. You don't want to talk about when you die.
Sure, exactly.
Absolutely.
But life insurance is key. It's critical. And so, Rob, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. And so today, Rob is going to answer some questions about life insurance, the importance of life insurance, and so on. So I'd like to start with a few questions. Well, the first question, why do we need life insurance? What is the purpose of that, Rob?
Well, we actually need life insurance for a lot of different reasons. The most basic reason is if there are people who depend on us financially. They could be our children, our spouse, maybe older parents, and something happens to us, there's a need for life insurance there.
Right.
We might use life insurance to secure a mortgage. If something happens to me, I want my family to stay in my home, I might have enough life insurance to pay off the mortgage so my family can stay in the home. Right. If I have a job with a pension, I might use a life insurance policy to support the pension where if something happens to me and the pension stops, my family has the life insurance to fall back on.
Sure.
You know, other reasons could be some people use cash value life insurance to fund an early retirement.
Right.
If you have a partner in a business, you might need what's called a buy-sell agreement, where each partner insures the other. If something happens to one or the other partner is bought out.
Oh, okay.
And the surviving partner can continue on in the business.
Now, Rob, can you tell us what are the different types of insurance policies that are available for people?
Basically, there's 2 different types of life insurance. There's permanent life insurance and there's term life insurance. The most basic type of permanent life insurance is called whole life insurance. These are usually burial policies, smaller type policies. You'll find senior citizens generally use them.
Right.
Just for final expenses, things like that. A more modernized version of permanent insurance called universal life insurance.
And what's that?
Universal life insurance, the word universal really means flexible. The premiums can be flexible, the face amount can be flexible. There's really a whole host of options when it comes to universal life insurance. Basically, there's an account attached to the policy. Every time you make a payment, money goes into that account.
Okay.
Every month, the company takes out the charges for the life insurance. The money that's left over earns interest. So the more you put in, the more that interest can grow.
It's like a bank almost.
It's like a savings account,
right.
Sure. You can borrow against that money.
Okay.
You can take a withdrawal, but it's important to know the effects of a withdrawal against what it does to the life insurance policy. If you decided down the road to cancel the policy, any cash value that's in the policy is your money, and they'll pay that money back to you.
Right.
Most of the time, in certain situations, there wouldn't be a taxable event, but it's important to consult with a financial advisor to make sure.
So, Rob, we were just talking about people who actually take money out of one of their insurance policies, and it's important for them to seek an advisor. What is the purpose of an advisor?
Well, an advisor can advise you on the effects of any actions you do to your policy, whether it's a withdrawal or a loan or canceling.
Right. So it could affect somebody in the long run. It's really wise to just try to keep that money in there for real emergencies.
Or to treat it as a loan and pay it back at your own rate.
Right. It's important to pay it back. It's like an IRA, if you took money out of like a 401k, just make sure you have that money put back. Okay, so that's good to know. What else do people really need to know as far as the different policies, life insurance policies?
Well, there's another very popular type of policy called term insurance.
Okay.
Now, our life insurance needs may change over time. The amount of life insurance I need today is a lot different than what I might need when I'm 75 years old.
Right.
So in that case, sometimes term insurance is a good fit.
Okay.
Now, term insurance comes in 4 different lengths of time generally. It could be 10-year term, which is the shortest, 15-year, 20-year, or 30-year. Okay. And what that means is the price is fixed for that initial length of term. They will let you renew it at the end of the term, but it's usually at a much higher rate.
Right.
So it's important to know what that would mean at the end of the term.
So in other words, if someone decides they want to take out a policy up until they're 70 years old or 80 years old, can they make changes to that, in the next couple of years, or is that something they need to change toward the end of the policy?
Well, it all depends on the rules of the contract.
Okay.
But most term insurance policies have what we call a conversion privilege.
Okay.
And a specified amount of term that you have a right to convert the policy.
Okay.
You don't need to do a new medical exam in most cases.
Right.
And so that is a major benefit of term insurance, is that you actually control that block of insurance. You get to decide how long it lasts. You can let it run its course, or you can convert it into universal life insurance or whole life insurance.
Right.
And set it up to any age you wish.
That's great.
Bob, is there a major cost difference between the two policies, the term and the universal?
Well, universal life insurance generally lasts a lot longer than term insurance, so it's probably going to cost a little bit more. But until you sit down and compare the rates, you really don't know for sure. In some cases, universal life insurance might be similar to term insurance.
And can people do both at the
Yes,
same
that's a
time?
good point. Sometimes people need a combination of term insurance and permanent insurance. While they have the term insurance, they would have both. And then when the term insurance runs out, they would just have the permanent insurance. All the while knowing that if they decide to change some of the term insurance into permanent insurance, they have that option as well. So they really control that whole block of insurance.
There's a lot of flexibility there.
A lot of flexibility.
That's great. Awesome.
I'll give you a quick story. A woman bought a 10-year term insurance policy. She got the very best rating, because there are different health ratings that each company offers. She got the very best rating. About 3 years into it, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, she survived the breast cancer. She's doing fine. But being a cancer survivor, that can affect her rating going forward on any future policies. She knew she could change her policy into permanent life insurance at the very best rating, and we didn't have to say anything about her breast cancer.
Wow, that's great. How's she doing now?
She's doing very well now.
Awesome. That's great.
So you are able to get insurance if you are a cancer survivor, but you're never going to get, or it's unlikely that you'll get that best rating.
Right. It all depends on each company's guidelines, but as a cancer survivor, sometimes it limits you to what rating you can get.
Are there any policies, if I said that I'm absolutely petrified of needles, or I don't want to do a medical, are there policies that you can have without a medical, or do all require a medical?
There are certain policies that don't require a medical exam. In our case, it's called basic term. It's for amounts $150,000 or less up until age 45, and no medical exam. You still have to be in a certain amount of good health, but no medical exam is required.
Right. And what do they look for specifically in the medical exam? Is it cholesterol levels? Or
Yes. The medical exam usually requires a blood sample, which is tested for blood sugar and cholesterol.
Sure.
Then there's a urine sample tested for prescription drugs, illegal drugs, nicotine, things like that.
Sure. And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And most basically, it's also tested for HIV.
Right. Now, Rob, how much life insurance does a person need?
That's a good question. Traditionally, people say that we should have about 7 times our earnings.
Okay.
In other cases, in the case of maybe using life insurance for backing up a pension,
Right.
we might need that income to last for a long, long time.
Okay.
In that case, the life insurance money may be used to purchase a type of investment, like an annuity.
Right.
And then the annuity will pay an income stream to that person for as long as they live.
Okay.
Generally speaking, the income stream is usually about 5% of the principal. So in that case, we would need about 20 times the amount of income we want to generate.
Now, someone like myself who's 49 years old, okay, single, what would you recommend for someone like myself?
For a single person,
I have a niece and nephew, I have a brother, and, so someone who, would like a decent, burial and, but I would like to leave my family some peace of mind as well.
right. Well, that's, the peace of mind part is kind of up to you.
Yes.
A basic policy might be anywhere from 10 or 15,000, maybe 25 or 50,000, something
Right.
like that. It can be used for burial, funeral,
Right.
maybe pay off some debts, things like
Absolutely.
that.
That's true, because a lot of people who pass away, they have accrued credit card debts. Because I had an aunt many years ago when she passed away, and the credit card companies were calling us, the beneficiaries, to go after her estate. They wanted these to be paid off.
Mhm.
So having life insurance can certainly help and alleviate that.
Mhm.
I think it's so important. And that's, once again, there are so many people who just feel, let me buy it next year, let me buy it next, whatever, let me just push it off, and, you don't realize how important it is. It's important as having homeowners insurance.
And it gets expensive. The
Yeah.
older you are, the more expensive it is.
Absolutely.
So that's something you really have to consider in postponing it as well.
Sure.
That it's getting more expensive as you get older.
Yes, it's not something that you want to push off. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And a lot of people, don't want to think about it, but it's very important.
Excuse me, sorry. What happens when people say, oh, I have a policy at work? A lot of times I understand that policy, if they leave their job, they no longer have the insurance. And I'm not sure people know that. How does that work, Rob?
Yeah, most times life insurance through the job is not what we call portable.
Okay.
If we separate from the job for whatever reason, if we switch jobs, most of the time it doesn't come with us. So then we have to look for a new policy. So then we might want to just have our own personal policy so that we know we always have it. Also, a group policy through the job might be at a standard rating where if we're in good health, by getting our own personal policy, we might be able to get a much better rating and save money that way.
Great point.
Right. And also for parents who I know with my mom many years ago, even though I was a kid, she had a life insurance policy on me as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's always important. A lot of people don't think about that, but to have life insurance policies on your children is key as well.
It's tough for parents to think about something
Yes.
like that. I have a lot of clients who will start a policy
Right.
for their kids, and they know that somewhere down the road they'll transfer ownership to the children.
Right. Exactly.
When we have children, we don't need to do a medical exam. A child's not going to do a blood
Sure.
sample, a urine sample.
Right.
So we use it to what we call establish insurability. We can
Sure.
give them a policy when they're pretty much guaranteed to get one.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's something that it's not something that you should think about and say, it's just like some people they get eerie about writing a will, and not to get dramatic and stuff like that, but it's part of life. There are things that just in life that you should always have set aside, that that you have peace of mind that these things are taken care of, and life insurance. And I have to say, I mean, I do my business with Allstate, and they are phenomenal. Absolutely incredible company. They are on top of everything. They remind you, there are so many times that I forget about things. They're always on top of you. They remind you of when your payments are due, and everyone is so nice and so cooperative and so willing to work with you. So it is a great company. Hey, I'm telling you, I love it.
Are there situations when somebody is denied for insurance, or let's say has somebody ever lied on an application? Maybe they were a pilot, a recreational pilot, and God forbid they died. How does that work about being honest on an application? Because sometimes I get that question on my side, what should I put down, Christina? And I'm just a believer of put down the truth. But how does that work? God forbid there is a death. Do they investigate? How does that?
Well, most companies have what we call a 2-year contestability period. Something were to happen to me within the first 2 years after I purchase a policy, most companies will generally do a slight investigation, and if they do find out that you were dishonest on your application, it is possible they could disqualify any death claim.
Makes sense.
It does.
Makes
You
sense.
should be honest on an application.
They also have a 2-year suicide clause.
Right.
I can't go out and buy a policy and commit suicide and expect the company to
Of
pay the
course.
claim. But after 2 years, I can.
Okay.
There's that interesting controversy now with the woman who went missing in Aruba, that
Right.
her travel partner bought the life insurance, and I believe the company's not paying right now until the investigation is finished. So that's
But you don't know what's really going on out there. It's so many people play games.
And interesting that you would buy a policy on somebody that you're traveling with, that's
Yeah.
not your girlfriend
Doesn't make
or
sense.
spouse. Doesn't make sense, but maybe there's something we don't know. I
Doesn't
don't
make
know.
sense at all. So far, so good. I mean, I'm learning a lot. I mean, how about yourself? Well, you know more about than I do, but
It's
Rob
great
is the
working
expert.
with Rob. I really feel that my expertise is in property and casualty, so I'm the auto home expert, and I
Yes.
don't need to be an expert in this because I have Rob, and this is all he does every single day.
Right.
He goes to my clients' homes, their businesses, and it's just fantastic.
That's great.
Because we can fully service the house.
And also, Rob, I know we have a couple more questions left, but also, why don't you tell the public how they can contact you if they're interested in learning more or purchasing a policy? Because we want to put that up on
Well, you can go to the website, allstate.com,
Okay.
and you can click on the link for Find an Agent,
Okay,
and you can actually look for Christina or myself.
okay. Is there any specific number that you have that you would want to give out, or is it just the website is we would recommend?
Well, we can give out Christina's office number.
Absolutely.
You can always
You
reach
can call.
me through
And
her.
what's your number?
516-409-4100, or you could always email Rob or myself, and it's ChristinaShaw@allstate.com,
Great.
which is all one word.
We're going to have you say it again at the end of the show, but I wanted it, kind of in the
Absolutely.
middle here. Rob, so far I want to thank you for all the information that you provided to the public so far. Do you have any other recommendations for our viewers? I'm sure people out there would want to know about maybe other services that you provide or can provide, if you want to let them know.
Sure, not only life insurance, we also offer disability insurance, which
Okay.
pays us an income if we're disabled or sick and can't work.
Right.
We also
Now that's
offer-
important, that's key.
It's a very important insurance, and most people don't have it. They don't realize how important it is.
Sure.
We also offer what we call long-term care insurance. This is insurance more for when we're elderly and need help around the home, or need to be in a nursing home or assisted living
Right.
facility. That's the type of insurance that we pay for when we're younger, and then it pays those bills when we need them later on.
So there's insurance for, as a person gets older and needs assisted living, there's insurance that will get them through that.
Yes, and the same policy will pay for a care provider or a nurse to come into the home,
Right.
which is really the best part of long-term care insurance, because I can stay in my home
Right.
rather than having to be in a facility. But if I
Sure.
need medically, if I need to be in a facility, it also pays for that.
Right.
When do
Yes.
people generally purchase long-term care? At what age is it something you look at?
Well, it's similar to life insurance in that it is cheaper when you're younger. As you get older, it becomes more costly.
Mhm.
You really can get it at any age. People generally don't tend to think about it until they reach 50 or 60.
Right.
People that have an older parent that they have to provide care for tend to think about it a little bit more.
Right.
Chances are that the longer we live, the more likely we are
Right.
going to need some care.
Is there a certain age that where people start going into these home care service agencies? Is it the
Well,
50s?
everybody's different.
Right.
you could need care as a result of a stroke or something like that, which really
Right.
can happen at any age.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, in my old neighborhood, there's a beautiful facility that takes care of people, and they have insurance. They purchased insurance, and the quality of life is great. It's unbelievable. They have so many activities for them, and a lot of these people drive. They're free to go. They come and go as they please, but they're in an assisted living program. They have insurance for it. I have a friend, Marianne. She's a wonderful woman. I've known her for many years, and she said the quality of her life has changed so much. She loves it. She said she doesn't. She is so happy that she had insurance behind this to cover it, and her life is just. You just meet new people, make new friends.
And the activities.
The activities are nonstop, and they have bus trips to Atlantic City and go, all different things, and it really keeps you active. It's not like you're just stagnant.
Keeps you younger.
It keeps you younger.
Yes.
That's yes.
Keeps your mind fresh.
Yeah, these people go shopping, and even if they're not able to drive, they have these little buses that pick them up, and wait for them. And I have to tell you, they look so happy. They have little verandas outside to enjoy the sun. It's a great, and a lot of people don't think about stuff like that.
And like Rob just said, when you asked at what age, my uncle just suffered a stroke a few months ago.
Right.
Young, he's in his 50s. And we would have never predicted this or
Right.
would have known this. And his whole life is completely different. And he's doing great, thank God. But his life has changed.
Right.
So the importance of disability and long-term
Sure.
care, so that burden is not on your family financially.
Absolutely.
Because they have an emotional burden.
So, but if you don't have these insurance policies, you're in such jeopardy of losing your home, losing everything you have, losing everything you work for. So insurance it's so critical to have these services. Are there any other services besides these that you can think of?
We also offer accident policies,
Okay.
which pays a benefit if I pass away in an accident,
Right.
or if I lose a limb or break a limb.
Okay.
We also offer cancer insurance.
Okay.
Cancer insurance pays a benefit if I'm diagnosed with cancer. It
Wow.
helps to pay some of those expenses that my medical insurance might not cover.
I didn't even know
That
this.
is a policy. I just bought it last year, and I believe in it so much because the cost is next to nothing.
Really?
And you also get back money if you go for a wellness checkup each year. So if my husband and I each get a checkup, we get back almost half of our premium, which is again not much money. And I really like that it pays us. It doesn't pay the hospital
Sure.
or the doctors, because so often when somebody has cancer, a well person needs to take off
Absolutely.
to care for that person, to bring them
Without
back
a
and
doubt.
forth.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that response from the cancer policy, but that's something I'm passionate about.
No.
It's just a variety of policies that are out there that and I really think people should call you up and find out more about this.
And you have to tailor it to your life.
Right.
You're not going to buy a disability and a long-term care and a cancer policy. We have to tailor it to what you need.
Sure, and especially in an environment, economy like this, where people are going through such tough times, it's important to have these types of insurance. You need to have yourself covered.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I left out is someone like me or Christina can't tell you how much life insurance we think that you need, but at the end of the day, it has to be something that fits into your budget.
Sure.
We all want to leave $1 million to our family, but
Right.
it's something that we have to pay for.
Sure, absolutely.
Also, a lot of people will tell me that they have life insurance already. They have permanent life insurance or universal life insurance. Universal life insurance is something that can fluctuate. And if interest rates change, your life insurance can change. So it's really a good idea to review your policy every so often, to know exactly
Absolutely.
what to expect down the road, so there aren't any surprises.
Good to know.
If someone has a major life event, having a baby, getting married, buying a home, things like that, these are important times to review
Awesome.
your life insurance needs and make sure that you're covered
Right.
sufficient.
Okay, Christina, I know we went through this before, but I absolutely want to have it at the end of the show, in the tail end credits, closing credits, whatever we call it. If people are interested in learning more about these insurance policies, want to buy an insurance policy, how do they contact you?
Great question. A lot of different ways. They can call at 516-409-4100. Always can email me at christinashaw@allstate.com. They can come into my office. I'm located on Merrick Road in Bellmore, directly across from the Duck Pond Mill Pond, and about a quarter mile west of the Montauk Parkway, so they could always come in and we could have a conversation and arrange for an appointment with Rob.
Awesome.
At their leisure, or make an appointment in their home or business.
And actually, today, after meeting Rob, I am actually looking into purchasing a life insurance policy for myself. I think it's very important. It's one of the things that I kind of let slide by the wayside and realize it's very important, and people should really find out about this. But I want
It's the most important thing we do.
I want to thank you so much both for being on the show. We love having you here. Always looking for more information to send to the public that's so unaware of so many things, and insurance is one of them. And Rob, I want to thank you so much
Thank
being
you.
our
Thanks
guest.
for having me.
Christina,
Chris,
always
thank
a pleasure.
you. You're the best.
And for all of you viewing, Nassau, Suffolk County, we love you, love our viewers. We hope you enjoyed Community Spotlight, and we look forward to another episode next week.